Well, that's right. It's cyclical. It doesn't. There's no way out of it. Let's look at a term I've dealt with a lot, and it's white guilt. And white guilt is not the feeling of guilt. White guilt is acting guiltily because you are terrorized by being seen as a racist. If to be seen as a racist in American life is a terrible thing. It's ruinous to your career, to your life. And so whites then are hungry for a way to prove that they're innocent of racism, that they're not racist. And this is where the trouble begins. We've had 60 years now of the federal government and institutions across society bending over backwards, supposedly dealing with the problem of race and inequality and so forth. And again, whites taking the position, liberalism itself really is a response to our history of evil racism. Liberalism is going to sort of redeem us from that. But the problem with that is that you steal the thunder of the people you're trying to help. You cut them off from the human part of themselves that wants to aspire, that wants to make a life no matter what. The part that is fearless, that wants to engage the world. So to satisfy this guilt, this larger in society, we end up facilitating weakness in the very people we're trying to help.
Shelby,
weaker and weaker.
Yeah, and it takes away that drive, that initiative that I think we all innately have to improve ourselves regardless of where we are in life or even where we came from. But Shelby, I also want to get your response to this tired trope we've seen during Trump's presidency, and it's reared its head again, 2 separate occasions just in the past 24 hours. Watch.
Well, look, when you talk about his statement on that, when you talk about him calling African countries S-hole countries, when you talk about him referring to immigrants as rapists and murderers, I don't think you can reach any other conclusion.
So you definitely would agree that he's a racist?
I do, yes.
I don't really think that the president sees black people as fully human. I don't think he sees us as having agency, intelligence, as noted by his comment about Spike. He wishes he could read. There's always some subtle suggestion that black people need to catch up.
Your reaction to that, Shelby?
Well, I think this is part of the politics of the left. Liberalism has to have a menace to fight against, to justify its claims on power. One of the things that they don't have many real problems to work with today. We don't have the racism that we used to have, for example. What came along as a kind of gift to them was Donald Trump, who could be built up into a huge menace. He is an enemy of civilization itself, and we have to rally against him. We have to demand power in order to fight him. So Trump, in that sense, is the new racism. He justifies. Without Trump, what do they have to fight against? Racism has been pretty much nullified.
And they don't believe that. Shelby, they don't believe that. No, they don't. You listen to Spike Lee at the Oscars,
they believe that when they walk around the world up and down the streets and go into this place. I grew up in segregation. I know what that's really like. That's not a problem today. You can do it and go anywhere you want. You can be anything you want to be. And when you say that Trump is a racist, you are simply you're regressing. That's retrograde. That's yesterday. That's not today. And you're not helping anybody. The problem is that we have, as a people who were oppressed for 3.5 centuries, we don't yet know how to deal with freedom. Freedom is far more of a problem in minority communities today than racism. Racism is that we're calling back this old problem of racism to hide from our new problem of freedom. That's what we don't have a history
really
of that.
interesting. Yeah,
we had
that's
to
a
deal
really-
with everything, but not that.
Yeah. Shelby, I mean, I could just talk to you for an hour. Yeah, I literally could just talk to you for an hour about all these issues. And I hope everyone in the country is listening to this right now. We've talked a lot on this show about solutions, how people can try to get ahead in their lives, inspirational stories, dead ends. We've all found them in our own lives. But you're giving us some common sense ideas about how to think about the challenges in front of us. And Jussie Smollett. I mean, this case blew. I mean, this could have resulted in blocks being burned down in Chicago if this thing kept going.
Right.
And then it's found out to be a hoax. And at UCLA, Shelby, not too far from you, down the coast, UCLA students were actually saying, "We still believe Jussie." That's how bad things have gotten. Shelby
denial.
Steele, it's total denial. Shelby, thank you so much for joining us. You don't do TV often, and we really hope you'll come back. Just fascinating. Thank you so much. And you're looking live at